Okay, cool. This is a little slow compared to that. That's like almost real time. This is.
Yeah, that one is pretty good still.
Yeah. Speaking of real time and stuff like that, do you see the new Apple update last week
I saw some of the
at
stuff.
the WWDC or something like that?
Yeah, whatever it was.
The worldwide developer something. Their
I'm not
their
that big of a
conference
nerd.
when they're
Yeah.
dropping all the new stuff. So like iOS 17 got announced and all the gadgets for that. That actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited for that for some of the features. The Watch OS 10 came out. That actually they're revamping the whole system on that. That one actually looks kind of cool.
Probably have to get a new watch now because this one's old.
What series is it?
3.
Maybe you might not be able to.
It might not make the cut.
Maybe
this time.
not. Maybe not.
It might be on the
I know
lower
for
end.
iOS 17, it's like the 12 and newer. I think the SE. I don't know when that one came out, but anything newer from there, 17 will work. But anything prior, obviously.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then Mac OS is getting a big update. They're releasing a new MacBook Air, which is cool. They're doing a 16-inch MacBook Air, which is nice. They're doing revamping all the Mac OS systems, making FaceTime pretty much like Zoom, and which I was like, they're just putting Zoom out of business now.
That's all they're going to do anyways is trying to compete with them and push
Right.
them. I mean, Apple's one of the biggest.
Keep you in the ecosystem.
Yeah, Apple's one of the biggest companies in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Last I checked it was 2.7 billion or something or whatever they're worth.
Probably trillion, more than that.
That was
because Apple is a $1 trillion company, isn't it?
I was still thinking they're in billions.
Oh,
that's a big jump from billion to trillion, though.
Or maybe they're going to be the first or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I want to say they're top 5 worldwide because I know Amazon's number 2, and it's some bank, I think Asian bank, Chinese bank.
Yeah,
is number 1.
I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah, but I mean, like, and if you go look at the top 10, I'm pretty sure like 60% of them are financial banks or oil companies.
Everybody thinks that banks don't really.
Oh no, there's so a lot of money, so much, and then it's like Amazon and Apple's up there too. Apple's like number 3 or 4.
I mean, and everybody thinks Tesla's a big company. Tesla's way down
compared to everything else. Yeah, I mean, maybe in America it's bigger,
fairly big. I mean, I don't even think it's bigger than like GM or even Ford or
not yet.
Mopar.
No,
like
there's no way. It's too new.
Yeah.
Comparative to, I mean, Tesla is an older company, but compared to these other,
I mean,
they haven't been in the
Ford's been around since the beginning.
Right. I mean, they're the
Chevy was
first
right
car.
behind, and
Ford was the first car, the Model T.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, they're forever old.
Yeah.
And then let's see. So Mac OS is getting a big update. They're revamping the Mac Studio, the Mac Pro, and then probably they're Apple's biggest tech innovations for a long time. The Apple Vision.
Yeah.
Apple Vision Pros.
How much is that $3,000 item?
$3,500 actually.
I couldn't remember how much it was. I was like, it's right around 3.
Yeah, I saw that they were announcing that because I heard some rumors that they were doing like a VR headset. I'm like, they're a little late to the game,
Yeah.
The MetaQuest, the Oculus, been out for a couple of years. Like, how's Apple gonna one up it? I'm like, I know they're gonna one up it, but how? You know, in what way? And then it dropped. And I'm sitting there watching it at work, the live stream. I'm like, holy crap, this is cool. And then, 2 hours later after it finishes, all these tech YouTube reviewers are dropping their videos. So I watched one. I was like, oh, this was pretty cool. And he explained it a little bit more. And I was like, oh, okay, that's way cool. And he said it was the certain stuff like the hand tracking and how smooth it is because the cameras, you can see real time, stuff like that. He said it's the best he's ever seen compared to the Meta's $1,500 Pro headset or whatever. He's tried that, and he said Apple just blew it out of the water.
Well, and again, more than anything, it's Apple. It's got the name on it.
It's got the M2. It's got they built a whole new processing chip for it. It's got its own OS system and all this crap.
Yeah.
So
it always amazes me that something so small
it
can do so much. And then you look at in the 60s how
big everything.
Like a computer would literally take up like this whole
the whole
downstairs.
Room. Right.
And then now it's you have this.
Well, they're saying that your phone has it's more computing power than the computers they use to send Apollo 1 to the moon. Like you can do more with your phone than they did.
Yeah.
I mean, was that the 60s?
Yeah, it was
60s?
69.
I mean, nice. But I mean, it makes sense, you know, because it's like I can add 2 + 2 on my phone. They probably took 4 years to do that on the computer.
Yeah. Or to get it right. I mean, they can.
Yeah, that's true.
They can do all this stuff, but to get it right.
Yeah, it was Apollo 13. That was the issue.
Yeah, that's always the issue.
So,
Tom
but
Hanks, man.
The tech guy I was watching, he was saying that like this, obviously, the Apple Vision Pros, it's not for the masses. It's a pro version of whatever it is. So he's thinking, hopefully, you know, they'll release like an SE version that's like $400 or $500 for the masses. That's way lower on the spec list, but it's still Apple's.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, it's first gen too, and
who knows? I mean, you look at the first iPhone compared.
Yeah, and he was saying like everything was so much better than everything else, and as a first gen product, like this is the first of its kind. So just wait for, you know, Apple Vision Pro 2, 3, 4. You know, it's gonna be crazy. You're just gonna barely put on like sunglasses and be able to do it and stuff like that. So it's gonna be crazy how much that's gonna change. And I mean, it's still 6 months away. The drop is. It's not until early next year.
Well, again, they're just building up their inventory because now they got this big hype of it. All right, this is what's going on. Guarantee it, they're going to sell out.
Right, and I mean, they announced it so early, so the developers could use the API and develop all this cool stuff for it. And so that's going to be cool.
Be very interesting. Lots of things to think about.
Yeah.
And that will lead us right back into our topic for today.
Nice.
Well, welcome back to the Boys Chat. Colby and Tanner back with you. Make sure you're following us on social media, liking, subscribing, all that fun stuff for us.
Yeah, if you're not subscribed, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Come on.
Why are you even watching
It's so easy. It's just right down there. Just boop, subscribe.
Insert a...
Please and thank you.
Anyways, we'll get jumping into a topic here. Today's topics are shower thoughts.
Ooh.
Those will get you sometimes.
Yep.
So one of the things when I was looking up some shower thoughts was why it happens. So when you're in the shower and you start relaxing, your prefrontal, cortex starts to relax. And that's one of the biggest parts of your brain that controls a lot of your thinking.
Right.
That allows everything else to calm down and your thoughts kind of go away, and then you start to kind of daydream. Is pretty much how it happens.
And that's when I can win all the imaginary arguments that I should have won 6 years ago, right?
Yeah. Okay. Or going back and going, hey, I should have said that to my wife today.
Yeah, exactly.
You might want to snip that one out. Not like they listen anyways.
That's true.
She at least admitted to me she doesn't listen. So.
No, every time I'm like, hey, you going to listen to this one? Hey, you should listen. Hey, did you listen to my podcast? No. I mean, she told me the other day, like, she doesn't listen to podcasts anymore because she was a big crime junkie. You know, I was iffy with those ones. I always wanted one that ended good, but none of them ever did.
Right.
So she said she doesn't even listen to that anymore. She just listens to music because, I mean, her commute to work is like 5 minutes. So it's like, you're going to plug in a podcast for 5 minutes.
You barely get through all their ads before you get to.
For real.
That's why we do it for free.
Yeah. For now.
For now. If you want to help us out with that, let us know.
Yeah. Should we start a Patreon?
GoFundMe.
Dude, OnlyFans?
Feet finder, man.
Oh, there we go. Feet finder.
I don't have that ugly of feet, but
I mean, just Photoshop.
That's true.
Well, AI. Hey, there we go.
Cheat everybody.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get into a couple of these and we'll kind of discuss them as we go.
Okay.
So when you go to bed and like when you're feeling sick and somebody says, oh, go to bed and you'll feel better in the morning. That's just shutting it off and turning it back on for your body. I mean, that's how easy is that to say, oh, our recorder's not working, I'll just shut off, turn it back on. But like how real that is for you. I mean, even how connected.
Right. And you get into bed, it's like you're putting yourself into rice.
Oh, I've not heard that one.
I just came up with that just barely. I was like, oh wait, yeah, turn it off, turn it on, put it in rice, you know, maybe it'll work. Put yourself in your covers, snuggle up.
There you go.
Yeah.
So when a balloon is half inflated, it's completely full.
I don't like that one.
That one's
that. Because what's technically a full balloon then? Or like if it's half inflated, what would be full inflated? Or would the point of full inflation be just prior to it popping? That would technically be full.
Yeah.
Right? Or to its max. I don't like that.
I mean, if you think about the difference between balloons, like if you think like just a balloon you get at a store or whatever, like, yeah, when you fill it half full, it's technically full because the space is full of something.
Right.
Whereas you think like a hot air balloon, it's not fully inflated until it goes up in the air.
Technically it is.
Yeah.
Though.
Yes,
According to that, it's technically always all the way inflated. Unless it's like folded up. And
I guess that's true too.
But even still, there's still room for some air particles in there. I don't like that one. That one,
that one make you
that's
think
like that's the same thing with like a glass. Is it half full or half empty? Technically, it's always full because there's particles in there. It's just full of what?
Mm-hmm. See, with that one, it's a glass of water.
Yeah,
I'm a realist here. It's a glass of water. It's not half full. It's not half empty. It's a glass of water.
Yeah, it's all about perception.
Mm-hmm. I have a very different perception of a lot of things, but
for
another day. So, does a straw have one hole or two?
I've seen this one. It's one hole.
It's one hole. It's one
hole.
continuous hole.
Yeah. How many holes does your shirt have?
Technically, 4.
4. Yeah.
So I gotta send in a story here with that shirt. So my dad said he was at Lowe's one day, and he was kind of looking at some tools and stuff, and a lady comes up to him and goes, "Hey, you know you have holes in your pants, right?" And my dad's like, "Do I? Like, what do you mean I have holes in my?" And he took him a minute and went, "Oh, I got it."
That's funny.
She was hitting on him, but
oh,
some polygamous lady, but you know, the only ladies that hang out at Lowe's.
Hitting on him or trying to, help get her
in the cult?
No, get her out.
Oh, or both.
Because I heard that's the only reason they talk to you. Like the females is that they'll only talk to you if they're trying to get out. Maybe that was just like a fever dream when I was younger or something.
That probably could have been because I don't think that's. Maybe that is. I don't.
Who knows?
Who knows? I don't know. I'm not there. How does our brains remember that we have forgotten something, but we can't remember what it was?
Oh, that's a good point.
That's a really. I mean, you think about it too. All right, you set something down. I always go back to that, or I do this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I walk into a room. What did I walk in here for? I walked in here for a very specific reason.
Yeah.
What did I walk in here for? And then, I'll just stop. I'll literally stare at the floor trying to figure out. I'm going, hello.
Oh, I heard that if you stop and you just look left to right super fast without moving, just with your eyes just back and forth, it's supposed to help somehow jog your memory of why you walked into the room. Or you walk out and walk back in, do it. But yeah, I don't. Oh man, our brains are wild.
And that goes to another one. The brain named itself.
Yeah.
How why does that make sense? How does that work?
Why did it want to be called brain?
Yeah. Why did it not want to be called Brian? I don't.
Brian.
Yeah. Be dyslexic over here. I don't. Maybe that's what dyslexics think is their brains is Brian and not brain.
True.
It could be.
True.
I'm not dyslexic, so I wouldn't know.
I am.
So do you think that way or
no?
Dang. Hoping that would work out with that one.
Logan claims that he has dyslexia.
He's too smart for that. Book smart.
Are we talking about the same guy?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Sorry, Logan. Love you.
Maybe certain aspects.
I'm trying to help you out, but not working out very well.
Yeah.
Beanbags are just boneless sofas.
Oh, yeah. Boneless. I want a boneless pizza.
If time travel is possible, shouldn't we have already run into time travelers?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have.
Dude, Stephen Hawking already proved time travel was fake. He had a party, and then a week later sent out invitations, and no one showed up to his party. So it's fake. But I saw another thing on that for whatever reason, the way time travel works is you can only travel back to when time travel was first. It's like you make a time machine, you can only travel forward from there, and any period forward from there, you can only travel back to that point.
Interesting.
But every time travel movie that does not follow
Back to the Future.
Does not follow suit.
Nothing.
You know?
Well, and again, how do we know that? Like, why is that how do we know that that's fact?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not just saying that to stipulate if time travel is real, how come we haven't run into anybody that's time traveled is okay?
Maybe we haven't run into someone that's time traveled. Because
That's
supposedly aliens exist, or the government has,
Area 51, man, it's a real thing.
extraterrestrial, whatever, evidence or something.
Yeah, I'm sure they got some aliens out of
because aliens do exist.
Oh yeah, there's no way.
Logically,
it makes sense.
Yeah,
there's too many other. The universe is way too big to just say,
right.
Oh, we're the only life forms in the whole universe.
Right, and the universe is ever expanding.
Yeah, well, when you look at like any other solar system, there's nothing exactly like ours, but they're similar enough that life can be sustainable.
Right, and like the whole carbon-based, what's the word? Life forms or whatever, carbon-based. Whatever, they have to have these to survive. It's like, well, no, we do. But what's that to stop someone from a different galaxy where, I mean, the laws of physics aren't going to change, but what if they do change a little bit? Because like you look at Interstellar, right? Like time works differently on other planets because of lots of things. And like you travel at light speed and it changes everything and X, Y, Z. And that gets into a whole,
that's a rabbit hole.
That's Einstein's theory of relativity. And I remember learning that in physics my junior year of high school. And it was the end of the year. So it was like, we're only going to touch on this at the end of the year because I'm just like, my professor was like, I'm just going to present it to you guys. We're not going to test on it, but it's just so you guys know, because this is physics and this is a physics topic, just so you guys understand, or not understand, but like you're aware of this, right? And I remember like listening to the stuff and going basic into it. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, but I couldn't explain why it made sense.
Right.
But it just made sense. But like if you truly understand something, you're able to explain it to a fifth grader or like a kindergartner, like a 5-year-old. And if you can't do that, then you don't truly understand whatever it is. I'm like, well, I can't do that. I can't explain it to anybody, but it makes sense to me, but I don't know how.
Right.
The whole light speed and time, space, whatever.
That's why I stick with math and not science.
It's technically math.
Technically it is math, but I stick with a little bit adding and subtracting and dividing super simple numbers.
There you go. Have the computer do it.
No, I have my 10 key do it. I pound on the.
Okay. It's a computer.
That's true. That is a computer.
One thing that did make sense that I can explain is time and space are separate and you can't move through both at the same time. That's why if you're a couch potato and you do nothing but sit on the couch and do nothing all day, you're not traveling through space because you're not moving. So time has a greater effect on you. Whereas if you're moving a lot more, time doesn't have as great of an effect on you as space does.
Interesting.
That's why doctors are always like, exercise, keep moving. And once you stop,
you die.
That's it. So it's like, if you constantly keep doing it, there's a higher chance that you're going to live a longer life, assuming no outside health, whatever affects you.
I had never thought about it that way.
Ever since I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. That is a very interesting thought there.
Think about that one. I got more too. I got some deep ones about infinity, like the idea of infinity, bro.
Well, it's like even to quantify infinity, you physically cannot quantify it because it is endless. Or like pi, how 3.14, right? That's about as far as I can go. But
3.141592 something.
Yeah, like it just keeps going. That's why we have symbols for those.
Right. What's crazy about pi though? Sorry, I'm just going off on.
Just go.
So what's crazy about pi, right? 3.14, and it's a never-ending sequence of numbers. And since it is an infinite number of numbers in a random sequence, if you assign each number to a letter, right? Kind of like a code. You're going to get the script word for word of any movie, song, or anything, any book in pi, at least somewhere in there, because it's an infinite number. It's constantly changing. There's no pattern to it. It's not like, 33 and a third, that's a third of 100 is 33.333 repeating.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be threes the whole time, but it's so different that if you sign it to certain, it's going to spell out everything.
That's interesting.
What that's like.
That's crazy because that's how, you think about the Lord of the Rings book, just the book itself.
Yeah. How long it is.
And then, the movie on top of that. And that's in there as well. Like,
yep.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Too much.
I'll let you keep going because I got more on Infinity. If we have time, I got one that I'll try and explain the best I can, but it's like a long shower thought.
I'll see if we can get into that. On to the next one here. And these ones are going to kind of be a little bit deeper. We worry about a good first impression, but we don't think about making a lasting impression.
A what?
Like a final lasting impression on somebody. When you meet somebody, you're always worried about making
first impressions.
First impression on them. But we never think about the final lasting impression on somebody. Because like right now, me and you can sit here and be talking, and then we don't see each other, and then maybe that's the last time we ever see each other.
Right. Hey, don't say that.
I'm just using that as an example.
I get it.
One of us would have to die before it'd be the last time. So.
Right. That. See, but with that though, you never know when it could be your last time. Just like how you and your childhood friends went out and hung out and played as kids for the last time, and you never knew it was the last time.
Right. And you really can't even look back at it and say that was last time.
Right.
Because everything just blurs. In my mind, everything just blurs.
Right.
Together.
It's like The Office. It's Andy, like I wish I knew we were in the good old days before we left him or whatever, how that quote goes. I think I butchered it a little bit, but
it was close enough that everybody got the gist.
Okay, I hope
At least
so.
I got it.
Okay.
I don't know about
that's
them.
good. Might get some flack for it later, but
oh well. It's fine.
Yeah.
We strive for happiness, but without sadness, we couldn't appreciate or understand happiness.
Yeah.
That one I think is a really
without opposition, right?
Yeah. You don't know how easy things are until you have trials and hard things happen.
Yep.
And that's why you have them.
Right. That goes back to the Bible.
Well, exactly.
We drop religion on everybody.
They don't want it. They don't have to listen to us.
Exactly.
But
they should want it.
They should want to listen to us. We live in a world where we can connect with people across the world, but struggle to have meaningful conversations with people right beside us.
Oh, wow. Hide behind a screen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's easier to talk with someone over message than in person. That is one art form that we have lost.
Yeah.
Is being able to speak to someone in face to face.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why, and you're an anomaly in this, but that's why people have a hard time dating online. Is because, they can sit there and talk back and forth on the app or texting each other, whatever. Right. But the second they go and meet each other and go on the date,
right?
It's
because you can seem crazy good online, but the second you meet in person, if you don't have that ability to communicate with someone, right. you're toast. I had a couple dates like that where I can't remember their names. I feel so bad, but I can't remember their names. Where, met on a dating app or whatever, hit it off pretty well online, over text, hit it off, and then get to the date, and it's just like super awkward.
Right.
One, because it's like, well, what do we talk about? Two, because it's like, well, I don't want to overstep or anything. I don't know what. It's like we seemed cool over messaging, but like now they're like super weird. Maybe it was me super weird. Probably me being super weird. Yeah. That kind of turned them away. But at the same time, it's like, you're very different in person. Right.
Well, and I think it goes back to too, like people lie on their resumes. Like, yeah, like I did this or I can do this, and then they get on the job or whatever, and it's, I don't know how to do that. Like,
yeah.
What are you talking about? You said you could do it.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Getting the gaslighting. I forgot what the word was.
Yeah. I don't understand that, but we can move on. I've never understood gaslighting.
It makes
like
no
they
sense.
say that, I'm like, what do you mean gaslighting? Like I don't get it. Anyways.
It's based off a movie or something.
That's a whole nother topic for another day.
We could
pop culture slang. There we go. What the cool kids say nowadays.
I hate some of those sayings.
For real. That's probably one.
That's no cap. I hate that one.
High key, no cap,
Oh,
bro.
I hate that one so much. I'm probably gonna get crap for that one, but we probably should stop there.
That's another day. That's another day.
We'll save some of those for another episode. Let
Yeah.
us know if you want us to do an episode like that, talking about pop culture or anything like that. We'll probably butcher everything because we're not very
Oh, for real.
hip.
I'm hip. I don't know what you're talking about. Yo.
Dog. Anyways,
Let's move on.
let's move on. Let's be done for today. Thanks for joining us today. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let us know what you think. Catch you later.
Bye.
Adios.